the vision, I think. And what I've written down here is that for setting your vision, beginning with the end in mind. If any of you have read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that's what Stephen Covey is really driving at in the 2nd chapter. One exercise he had was, and it's a little bit morbid, but it's going to happen. But imagine your funeral, and imagine who are the kind of people that are going to want to say things about you. What are they going to want to talk about? Because if we're talking about imagining the kind of life that you want to live, you've got to think about legacy, and is it going to be your family talking about what a great home life that you made for them, or is it going to be the employees talking about what a kick-ass boss that you were, or your best friend talking about the qualities of friendship that you brought to it? I don't know what it is, but that is one way to imagine. And also, without setting the vision, it also makes it easier to say no to things. And for me, that's an important one, because I'm old, it's very easy to bite off more than I can chew. Suddenly feel like I'm drowning in a sea of commitments that I've made and responsibilities that I've taken on, that sort of stuff. So if you know what you want and what you're working towards, it's going to make it easier to say no to people. And no's not a dirty word. If you know what you want to do, and if it's not quite right, you just got to be upfront and say it. In a lot of respects, that's better than saying yes to something and then letting somebody down afterward, which I've definitely done a few times. So it's an illusion of it's a metaphor I kind of tapped into before, but vision's the fuel that will keep you working through the tough scrapes in the meanwhile. So it's like that light on the hill, you could just keep marching towards it, and then passion itself lends to the size of the fuel tank. You kind of need both. So that's really everything I wanted to say around passion. I had some other, as I said, I appreciate it can take a lot of work and reflection, that sort of stuff, and it's certainly not a quick and easy thing to do. So I had some more kind of short-term things I can fire through now. Choose, at your age and points in academic career and professional career, aim for jobs that are just based on skills and connections that you can build, just for the reason I said everything, the dots all join up later on. So find skills that you want to work on and drive at it. For example, I hated public speaking coming out of high school, just nervous as, didn't like doing it. Which, that goes into think about the weaknesses everybody's got and then think how can I turn that into a strength, and then suddenly I'm invaluable, right? So I joined Toastmasters and did 4 years of that during my undergrad. So every week, Matt, get up for 5 minutes and talk about X, Y, Z. And, you get feedback and peer review and all that sort of stuff. So you can work at anything. No one's born great at anything. Everyone has to work at it. They might have a natural proclivity towards something, but everything takes work. Join everything. I honestly, at this stage, like uni clubs and all that sort of stuff, it's like when I was doing sales, we'd say to ourselves, to keep ourselves G'd up, every no is just bringing you closer to the next yes, right? Well, same goes for what you get involved in. These are the years to try everything out. And if you don't like it, at least that's something you can cross off and say, that wasn't for me. And later on, I'm going to think about why that was and then apply that to something else. So yeah, turning others' weaknesses into your own personal strength so that people can rely on you or need you. Another thing I do is I enjoy reading biographies, especially good ones, in that one, it's a source of finding personal heroes, which can be a useful exercise of what would this person have done in this situation. And also a good autobiography, someone thinks long and hard about their life, they try and distill the lessons themselves. It saves you having to spend years doing the exact same thing yourself. So if it's not biographies, then at least connect with older people in your community, like Rotary, for example. I'm sure they'd love to have these around. I know for me personally, since I've done a couple of presentations on what I'm up to, I just keep getting invites for coffees and all this sort of stuff. And we're talking about high up brass in the military and ex-CEOs and dudes worth millions and millions of dollars. They're successful and they want to connect with people. That's half the reason they get involved with Rotary, and certainly supporting Rotaract. I counsel against undertaking things purely for the sake of your resume. It's a poor foundation for lasting commitments. I mean, you might think this will look great on the resume, that might get you in through the door, but if there's not an alignment of what you're doing to your character, it's not going to be enough to sustain you. And to be honest, it can damage your resume if the history shows you've been bouncing from one thing to the other. Yeah, lucky last is find mentors. This was advice I got in year 10 and I didn't get around to following it until this year. But I think why I held off for so long was I didn't quite understand. I thought the mentor was meant to be this one person who was just like you, had done the same stuff you've done, had achieved the sort of stuff you wanted to achieve, and you were just going to be like the cookie cutter sort of image, but just 30 years younger or whatever, right? Well, that's, you won't find that. I don't think you'll find that. That's, everyone's too unique. What I'd suggest instead is break yourself down in kind of skills and traits and experiences that you want, and then just think of who's the best person I know for X, Y, Z, and go hit them up. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about how receptive people are to stuff like this. Certainly more than I was expecting anyway. And I've gone way over time, so I apologise. But anyway, that's everything. Thank you for giving me your time.